Welcome, everyone, to another edition
Makes me
of
happy.
the Blue Review. I know, I just love our intro, and when we did it over at the golf course, it was like so fun to do it out and about. I felt like Sedano and Cap, but with our own spin.
Right, it's our own little spin. That's right.
We got a special Tuesday edition, of course. Reminding everyone, I see you're already in the chat. 8:30 is the new start time. So if you're catching this later, just remember that to see it live and be in the YouTube chat, got to be here at 8:30 because we're talking Dodgers every weekday, 8:30 to 8:55. But without further ado, welcome to the Blue Review. I'm Parker Bell alongside Greg Bergman and Marcus Grant. Oh, no, I've messed up. It's been so long since I've done it. Greg Bergman, Marcus Grant, here we are. Welcome. Before doing any of this, I'd like to remind everyone that here at the Blue Review, we're presented by LAX, and our friends at Los Angeles International Airport are changing the travel experience. So check that out at flylax.com/transforminglAX. They're just doing some good things for the traveler, transforming the travel experience. So great stuff at LAX. But Greg, there's a lot of stuff you wanted to get into. I know that the last few starts, we've seen a lot of runs given up against the Dodgers. So we want to get into some of that pitching and more. Marcus, I know you kind of wanted to talk about just like how the offense has been looking and Mookie and everything. So let's get right into this. Yesterday, 10-4 loss in the series opener against the Cubs. Marcus, just what did you see from Walker? Honestly, he went further than I thought he would go innings-wise. I don't know what you thought there, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing, right? Because he had put out some really good starts in his last couple of outings, and it kind of gave us hope that maybe he was starting to turn a corner a little bit. Then to come out and give up those 3 runs in the first inning, gives up the home run to Bellinger. Michael Busch drives in another run. It was 3-0 before the Dodgers even came to the plate. The fact that he battled through and still gave them 5+, was charged with 5 runs, kind of a mixed bag. But, Greg, I just felt like we were hoping he was turning a corner, that maybe he was pitching his way, that we could at least have the conversation about him in October. This feels like a definite setback. It's not the end, but it's definitely a big step back from where he had been.
Yeah, it was a big step back, and he just didn't look good for that long. He did end up going 5. He got through some things. He got through a couple of innings that were kind of clean-ish, but for the most part, he was giving up hits. He gave up 9 hits. He only had 4 strikeouts. He did get a couple strikeouts on that curveball that has looked really, really good. But it seems like, maybe now that he is showing that curveball, showing the cutter a little bit more, that teams are starting to see what he's doing again and are catching up to him. And this is something that is what the worry is. Now he's going to keep starting. He basically has to. We don't have enough starting pitchers to to let him not start. But either way, he was good enough in his last couple of starts that hopefully this was just a short setback. And he has to go out there the next time and show that he can be the pitcher that he was the other starts before this. I just worry about a little bit that he did give up a lot of hits. He gave up home runs, and it wasn't just solo home runs. He gave up a blast to Cody Bellinger that just was the first pitch, and as soon as he gave it up, it was like, oh, that's not coming back. And he almost gave up another one in the 5th inning as well. So it was another one was like, okay, you just don't have it. And home runs are a very, very big problem because he had 2 in his last outing. They were both solo, so you kind of felt a little bit better about it. But 2 home runs again, and this time giving up extra runs on top of it, it just was not a good outing for Walker Buehler, and that's something that he needs to kind of absolutely work on.
Yeah, and it's weird because it feels like it's one thing or another with him, right? Like last night, he didn't walk anybody. He had 1 walk, right? So in that respect, he was around the plate. The problem is he gave up a lot of hits and a lot of hard hit balls. It feels like it's hard for him to do both, right? To limit hits and not walk people. So it's just I think he's still trying to figure out how to get people out in the strike zone. And I think until he can do that consistently, we're going to see the ups and downs from Walker Buehler.
Yeah, he was. I mean, because his pitch count was actually going pretty well. Going into the 6th inning, he was at 73 pitches. He got through 5 on very few pitches because I love watching pitch count. That's a big thing for me. Mm-hmm. But so he was low during that, and then it just couldn't get out of that 5th inning. He was just giving up. He was giving up hits. He was walking guys. That's where he got the walk, was in the 6th inning. So this is just a situation where he just could not get as far as he needed to go. Now, that's not to say that the Dodgers didn't have their chances. They had plenty of chances. They 3 times up in a row, Shohei, Mookie, Freddie all got on base. They went all 1, 2, 3 went on base, on base, on base. They had bases loaded, and they were not able to score enough runs. That's on the offense too, to not come through when they have those opportunities.
It is. I don't know. It seems like a trend recently that the Dodgers go into these series and they lose game one, and then they figure out a way to sort of bounce back, right? I mean, they did that against the Guardians. They came back and won the next two. I guess against the Diamondbacks, they won the first one, lost the second, and then came back. So it just seems like, they're winning. And I guess that's the important part, right? They're winning more than they're losing. They're winning series. But it does feel like it's been a while since they've just started steamrolling through teams and just running everybody over. And maybe that's some of it has to do with the fact that they can't get consistent starting pitching 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, that they're having to work in a bullpen game, that they're still trying to work out the kinks with Bobby Miller or Walker Buehler or what have you, where they're having to throw a Justin Robleski or somebody, Landon Knack in there somewhere. But and maybe hopefully they turn it around this week too, right? They lose last night. There's still 2 more shots at the Cubs. Then they have an off day before they go to Atlanta. So but it just would be nice to kind of get this thing rolling. I mean, September is almost halfway through. Let's kind of pick this up. Let's get some momentum and kind of start running into October that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But also, you were talking about it. You mentioned Miller, you mentioned Robleski, you mentioned Buehler. I mean, those were the guys that I think it was actually Stone on against the Angels. But those are the guys that were giving up runs. That's kind of what concerns me a little bit too, is that the guys that are trying to fight for spots in the playoff roster, whether it be in the bullpen as a long reliever or even as a starter, depending on how our starters actually do, are giving up a lot of runs. The Dodgers have given up 10 plus runs in three games since last Sunday. Robleski gave up 10 runs. What was it? It was Bobby Miller gave up a ton of runs on Wednesday against the Angels, and now Buehler's doing it against the Cubs yesterday. So that's there. Too many times we are seeing them give up too many runs. The one thing that I'll say about it that is actually kind of positive about it, it is the guys that aren't supposed to be the starters in the postseason, and the relievers that come in and give up those runs are not the main relievers. It is guys like Michael Grove came in, but Anthony Banda, who kind of seems like he's not going to last much longer anymore. He kind of seems like he's spent at this point.
He's probably running out of gas right now. I mean, he's giving him a lot. Like he's exceeded my expectations. Exceeded my expectations, but he might be running out of gas now.
he just got completely overused, and because of that, it's just time for him to. He's just coming in mop up duty and giving up runs. I mean, he could have come in and kind of saved it and could have kept it at 5. It was like 5-2 at that point. And then they ended up getting, because of a Mookie home run, made it 4. So he could have kept it at 5-4, but it doesn't matter. They ended up giving it 10 runs. They weren't going to be doing much. The positives in those 10 runs plus that they're giving up is that nobody that is giving up those runs are the main dudes.
Yeah. And I was going to kind of point to that too. It feels like in some of these games where the starter doesn't have it early, it almost just feels like Dave Roberts is like, all right, look, we're going to try and get you through as many innings as we possibly can. And, I think he sort of figures out by the 4th or 5th inning, like, okay, look, this is what we're going to do, right? The offense doesn't seem to have it tonight. We're going to get our starter through as many innings as we can. Then we're just going to eat the rest of these, So that's when you see an overworked Anthony Banda come out. That's when you see a Nick Ramirez come out and throw a couple of innings. So, while I do get frustrated, I know you do too, with sometimes how he uses, the Kopechs, Trinans, Hudson, Phillips.
Frustrating.
It's really frustrating. But on the flip side of that, it does feel nice on a night like last night that he didn't burn one of those arms, because it just, I know you're not trying to lose, right? You're trying to win every game, but also at some point in 162 games, when you're trying to keep people healthy and trying to keep people fresh, I think Dave Roberts has sort of figured out, all right, this is a night that let's not burn a bunch of arms or burn a bunch of guys trying to win a game that it just doesn't seem like is right there for the taking. So I guess there's an upside to that.
So to that point, Marcus, and my question to you, Greg, is with Yamamoto expected tonight, unless, knock on wood, anything happens before the game.
Hey, don't put that into the universe.
Well, it hasn't been confirmed by the Dodgers, but he is going to pitch tonight.
He's pitching tonight.
With an expected 60 pitch limit around there, 50 to 60.
Probably.
How do you approach this as Dave Roberts, knowing that last night they didn't burn through too many arms? Who's that guy who's up next after Yamamoto deep into the game, or maybe 5 innings or so?
They're probably going to do what they did on Saturday. I would expect, Marcus. I don't know if you agree, but it'll probably just be someone. It could be Justin Wrobleski that goes back out there. Michael Grove threw 2 last night, so he's probably down today. But so it'd probably be guys that you need. Otherwise, they're going to try and just go through the main relievers that they use. You might see Vezia, you might see Kopech in weird spots, you might see Hudson come in, Treinen. You're going to see everybody. You're probably going to end up using all 5, 6 of the main guys that they normally use on a regular basis, yeah. And it really just depends on how far Yamamoto goes with that 50-60 pitch in it. If he goes 3 or 4 innings, then great. You can kind of work it out from there. If that turns into 2, then that really changes how those things go. So I feel really good about Yamamoto. I think they're going to let him go probably close to 3-4 innings. If he goes 3-4 innings, that'd be fantastic. And then you can use the bullpen how you do. I just want him to be healthy tomorrow. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to see how far he goes, what he has to offer, and then how he feels on Wednesday morning. If everything's feeling okay, then I think we start to feel better about it. The next start coming around. I keep going back to this, man. This is sort of where the Dodgers really miss a guy like Ryan Yarbrough that you could bring out of the bullpen that you knew could give you 3-4 innings of relief if you needed to. They just really struggle in these situations because they don't have that long reliever. That's just that utility tool that you have in the box that is always going to work out for you. And it's something that they are dramatically missing right now. So, I guess Wrobleski has kind of filled that role, but every outing just feels like an adventure where the pitch count gets elevated.
2 on.
Immediately. You would think it was extra innings because it just feels like he starts with a ghost runner on second base.
Right.
It's just what it is. So I'm with you though. I think it's so they sort of cobble together. Look, if 60 pitches, ideally he gets you through 4, fingers crossed, and then you just try to cobble together another 5 innings out of that. That's probably what happens tonight.
So we do have a couple questions in the chat, and I really wanted to get to Killa Noez because it just made me laugh. He asked, did they send down that kid Capri Sun? I forgot his name. Obviously talking about Ben Kasparius.
Okay,
I was really trying to figure out who he was talking about.
Capri Sun.
I was really trying to figure it out.
Well done.
That is one name that, you thought maybe could just kind of hold together a little bit of the bullpen while some of the arms were hurt. But now that they're a little healthier, I believe he was sent down. I'll confirm for you, Noez. But they did also ask about Gratterall, just kind of some arms that haven't been around for a while. What is your confidence level in this bullpen grade?
So Gratterall should be coming back soon. I know they don't want to. They are going to bring him back. I don't know if it's actually happened tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Great. So great. So he's going to be. I hope that he can turn into the guy that he was, where he's giving up soft contact. He's not letting the ball go out of the yard. He doesn't strike a lot of guys out, but he still will be good. I really think that Brent Honeywell will be one of those guys as well, coming out after Yamamoto, because he can give you a little bit of that long relief that you were talking about. And also, again, Justin Wrobleski. But if Gratterall, I actually have a high confidence level in this bullpen. I know I'm probably in the minority when it comes to that, but I really like what they are building on the back end of the bullpen, because you really need like 3-4 guys that are really going to get you. Because if you get through 6, that's just what you need. If you can get through 6 from your starter, from Flaherty, from Yamamoto, by the time we get to the postseason, and by Glasnow, if you get those 4 dudes that can just shut things down, you have them. They're all there, and I really feel like they will be good enough to do that. Phillips, Kopech, Treinen, Hudson, and Brazier is another one of those guys that I think. Vezia is another one. Like, they have enough guys that they can mix and match in those 4 innings. So if you can find ways to have just 4 of those 6 guys be good on a daily basis, you should be okay.
No, I'm with you. The trust tree is strong, right?
Yeah.
Even though we don't necessarily care for how the branches are ordered on the trust tree. We feel pretty good about the foundation of it. And then, as you mentioned, adding a Gratterall back to that, it's one more guy you can go to. Not only is it one more guy you can go to, but it's also, a few less innings for the rest of them, right? It's one less time that you're using Hudson or Treinen or somebody like that. These are the guys who have been around, who are a little bit older, who are, kind of coming to the end a little bit. So if you can get Gratterall back out there and he can be the guy that he has been, that adds something. But it also goes back to, it becomes incumbent on the starters to try and get you through at least 5, ideally 6, so that you are limiting how much you're exposing this bullpen, because I think that's also been part of the issue in the playoffs, right? You haven't had starters go very long. Certainly that was the case against the Diamondbacks last year. Your starters weren't giving you anything. So by the second or third day, I mean, the Diamondbacks have seen these guys all year long. By the second or third day of the series, they knew what was coming, and it just turned into a total meltdown. So the more you can sort of insulate them from having to make multiple appearances over the course of a series, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, totally agree with you, and that's why I don't want to see the Diamondbacks or the Padres in this NLDS side.
Right.
Like, give me the team that comes from either the East or the Central, whatever that comes out of there. Whether it's the Mets or the Phillies, or it wouldn't be the Phillies, or the Mets or the Brewers or whoever it happens to be over there. I want one of them. I just don't want to see this team again in the TS. Get me to the CS and have a 7-game series against the Padres or the Diamondbacks or the Phillies or whoever it happens to be, where you have you feel better about it. I'm just done with these NOS teams in the DS. Tonight is a very interesting matchup. Shota Imanaga is an excellent pitcher going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Like, this is a must watch game tonight, and I do get a little bit nervous with Imanaga because he's been so good, and he absolutely shut the Dodgers down the last time they saw him. He saw him earlier in the year.
Yeah, absolutely, he is. He's been great all season long. It should be interesting too, and I think this is going to be one where look, if you are the offense, you have to try to generate something. I mean, we are hopeful that Yamamoto comes out and gives them a good start, but he hasn't pitched in 3 months. He hasn't faced live major league hitting in 3 months, so we're not 100% sure what he's going to have. So I think it's going to be incumbent on the offense to try and get to Imanaga early, try to put runners on base, put him in some high-stress innings early on, and see if they can get his pitch count up a little bit. That's going to be interesting. Side note to this, I suspect this might be the matchup we see at some point in Tokyo next year, too. Probably not opening day. It'll probably be Glass now, but maybe game 2. Do they go with Yamamoto Imanaga to start the season in Tokyo? Wouldn't be terrible.
So now we can put a little bit of extra on it, too. Like,
Ohtani?
What if – yeah, that's what I was going to go. What if it's Ohtani Imanaga?
Suzuki will be healthy. I mean,
he played last night. So these are like that. If it's Shohei getting the first start, he's the number 1 starter coming.
Right.
I can't imagine he's the number 1 starter next year. I mean, that would feel a little bit odd. It would probably be either Glasnow or Yamamoto, and I would probably lean towards Yamamoto or even Flaherty.
All right. If we're gonna galaxy brain this, right? If we're just gonna go all out, why not start the season with some combination of Yamamoto, Ohtani, and Roki Sasaki? How about that?
Oh, look at that. I did see an article the other day that Roki Sasaki may not be posted. So I don't know. That's still up in the air. But either way, whenever Roki Sasaki is posted, he is going to be a Dodger. I think that's pretty much set at this point.
Yeah, it's our farm system out there. So the question that I also wanted to get to before this ended, I know the chat is curious as well. Just, are you guys hearing anything on your front about Teoscar? I know the last he said, and everything's just kind of coming from him and interviews with him, is that he wanted to come back either yesterday or today. But I haven't seen any official word. I don't know if you guys feel that maybe he's ready or if you want to sit him out this series, get him back, a little healthier. What are your thoughts on that, Marcus?
Look, man, if he's ready to come back, come on back. We're glad to have you in the lineup. I know he said Monday or Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, so hopefully he's back today. If this thing turns out to be not as serious as we originally anticipated, and he's ready to go, I'm all for it. Put him back in the lineup. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely with you. But at the same time, like, if he's not 100%, sit him down for as long he needs. We don't need him like aggravating something in his ankle because that's where he got hit. I just don't want it to be like, oh, he thinks he can go, but he's not quite sure. Just let him sit if he needs to. If he's absolutely ready to go and can contribute, awesome. Let's do it. But otherwise, nah. I just want healthy Teoscar Hernandez in the postseason. I think he's going to be massive in October. So be healthy, Teo.
Yeah,
that's what I need.
He is built absolutely for October. And another thing I see in the chat, and I really like this topic because I believe Travis and DeMarco may have brought it up yesterday. Talking about Ohtani, when it comes to nicknames, this is kind of a little fun topic. I know that he's been floated around. It's been floated around the unicorn, but that's something we just give to anyone who's just absurd. I think they used to call Kristaps Porzingis the unicorn.
Yep, sure did.
What is your official nickname? Maybe something that you call him. Showtime is a good one. But I see in the chat, somebody asked, I think this is JJ Reddy, anyone cool with calling Ohtani the Big Show? He needs a nickname. But that was kind of dedicated to the WWE legend, the Big Show.
Right.
What are you guys thinking? You got anything off the top of your head?
So for whatever reason, when I'm at home and watching him, and I'm sitting with my girlfriend and we're watching it, and she goes, we call him Showbay. I've
called him that before.
Yeah. I think everybody has called it. I mean, I kind of like Showbay.
Yeah,
like it feels a little bit, whatever. But I like it. Big Showbay.
Yeah, Showbay is nice because otherwise I'm thinking like we just call him like damn because that's what's you like every time he does something like,
just damn
he did it again like wow. But yeah, I think Showbay probably it works better on a t-shirt.
Yeah, Showbay absolutely works.
I mean, he always has that like smolder. He takes his helmet off and does the
hair. I mean, he's got great hair, man. He does.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask.
He's just a massive unit, though. That's why I like the Big Show also, kind of, because he's just this giant human being at all times. It's just amazing the type of power he has.
You forget how big he is, and then you see images of him. Speaking of, Imanaga and some of his friends, him and Yamamoto. They were all standing with Imanaga talking, and Ohtani's just towering over these, professional athletes. I get it. Actually, Ohtani and Imanaga and Yamamoto are kind of smaller when it comes to baseball players, but still, Ohtani towers over everyone except for like De La Cruz's.
What do you think of this one from Jazz Meat? Showtani.
Showtani.
I think. What did Trout?
The Big Show with an O, not a W.
Yeah, no,
I believe Trout used to just call him Showy.
Yeah, I just figured the Big Show would be just big SHO, and we would just leave it at that.
There's some good stuff popping up in the chat now. I mean, Samurai Slugger,
the Ohtani Express.
I did think like could we do something with Samurai? Is that culturally insensitive? Like,
I mean, I just stay away from all of those because I don't know what is insensitive and what's not anymore. I'd rather just be safe.
Yeah.
I've gotten in trouble in the past for things that I've said, and I don't want to do it again. That's just straightforward and honest with you.
I mean, I like when they add a little bit of it into the home run calls. I think Wayne Randazzo used to say, or Gooby, some of them used to say, gosh, it's slipping my mind. Maybe Sugoi, like "let's go."
Sugoi,
yeah.
All right.
I think it's cool when you sprinkle it into the broadcast, but maybe not just calling him.
Just calling him that.
Hey, but the fans like Big Show. I mean, we'll keep this going. I'll put up a poll maybe on socials and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the name will be. Yeah.
So do it so that we can bring this topic back up with Marcus and I, because that's from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock tonight. Marcus and I will be hosting a show, Destination for LA Sports. Anytime there's no play-by-play on 710, we will be doing either us or Andy Kamenetsky, Brian Kamenetsky, Beto Duran. Just someone will be doing a show from 6 to 8, and tonight it is Marcus and I from 6 to 8. And we'll bring this topic back up, and we'll maybe put up a poll, take some calls on what we should name Shohei Ohtani, what is the right nickname, but we'll figure that out. So please put up that poll.
Yeah, definitely will. I mean, hey, chat, thank you for being here. We, of course, as Greg said, are LA's mega sports station, and the destination for LA sports is happening with Greg and Marcus later tonight from 6 to 8. But just hang out with us all day because we got some great shows all the way around, starting with Travis and DeMarco up next. So, Greg, we got a couple more minutes. I'll let you kind of round us out. Of course, this is just our second day of the 8:30 start time, so you can go ahead and throw us out to Travis and DeMarco. But appreciate you all for being in the chat.
Yeah, thank you all for being in the chat and being here at 8:30 in the morning. This is where we're going to be every single day from 8:30 to 8:55, Monday through Friday. So please be on the ESPN YouTube channel every single day. Thank you very much to Marcus. Thank you very much to Parker. And get your Dodger talk here at 8:30 in the morning. This is the place to be. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Elliot.
Bow, bow.